Hello, I'm John Langley, and I'm one of the independent mayoral candidates. Whether you've heard of me or not, and a lot of people seemingly haven't heard of me, um, I've been very open and honest about my past. It's all out there, um, and I've nothing to hide. There is no reason why I should continue to hide anything either. If I'm going to be mayor of this city on May the 5th, then I believe in openness and transparency. Um, and in that respect, you know, uh, I'm here to tell you today that this campaign has taken me to the edge of depression so far. Um, there are points in this campaign, there are certain parts of this campaign where my depression gets so bad, I'd actually like to just go and find a tree somewhere quiet and hang myself. And it's not because I'm saying this because I want sympathy. If I want sympathy, it's in the dictionary between shit and syphilis, and I'll look it up. This is about understanding. It's about understanding the process which is going on, which denies you the information that you need in a very biased election. Because if you look at most of the coverage so far, and I say most of the coverage, it's to do with the five major parties are up there. You've got the Tories, you've got Labour, you've got the Liberal Democrats, you've got Greens, you've got UKIP. And the whole election, really, to all intents and purposes, has been about them. My policies haven't seen the light of day, the odd one or two. And it's not just me, it's the other independents as well, to be fair. I don't want you to go feeling sorry for me and this is all about me, because it isn't. By and large, it's about other candidates as well. You are not being given access to information that could really enable and empower you to make more of a democratic choice when it comes to voting on May the 5th. I'm not getting a look in anywhere, and I'm having to fight all the way for what I believe should be a democratic Bristol where you have a voice. And that's really important to me, and I'm passionate about it. But it just isn't happening in this campaign because we're not getting the coverage. We're not getting the publicity. None of us. Go on my website. The address is somewhere down here now. And look at my aims and objectives. They're good, realistic, straightforward, fair objectives that I think will turn Bristol around and make it into more of a democratic city. Because up to now, you've been walked all over. We've all been walked all over. We've not been part of any discussion, any meaningful discussions about the way the city should be run. RPZs, 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, services cut left, right, and centre, which affects people like you, your families, your friends. None of us have been consulted. And yet we all pay money into City Hall in the form of council tax. But we don't have a choice. As consumers of services, we actually don't have a choice. What kind of services are these? What kind of council is this where you don't have a say? And we end up with people marching through the streets with their banners and their placards in protest. How fair is that? Ironically, the city seems to be awash with money, and I've had my campaign manager, who used to be an executive with Hertfordshire Council, look at the books, and to all intents and purposes, we're probably one of the better off cities financially in the country. So why are services being cut? Why are the homeless on the street when we've got so much money? It bothers me. It bothers me intensely, and it should bother you as well. My sneaking suspicion is that a lot of money is being withdrawn from services to end up paying for the arena, which is going to end up, seriously in debt. I mean, I'm thinking 120, 150, 180 million. We haven't seen the end of it. That's the only reason I can think why services are being cut. If that's not depressing, I don't know what is. But through the depression, no matter how bad I feel, and I go to some pretty dark places within myself through this campaign. I seriously do. But at the lowest points, there is always hope. There's always hope. And at the lowest point is where we find our strength. When we think things cannot get any worse. And we've got to find strength in this. If we're going to build a democratic city, a real city, a joined up city, where communities aren't divided, we have to fight this. We absolutely have to fight it with every bit of strength, every resource that we have. And I would like you, even if you've never heard of me, and a lot of people haven't, to go to my website, have a look at the aims and objectives. You don't have to agree with every single one. You know, I'm not going to be the savior of this city. You know, Marvin Rees might think he could be for Labour, because they're setting him up to cozy up to the BME community. So he comes out the hero of the BME community. That's the way I see it. What we don't need in Bristol is an Obama Rees. You know, it's not all about the BME community and how deprived it is. Yes, they are deprived. I agree. I'm not disputing that. But when you look at the deprivation in Bristol, way up the list are places like Whitchurch, you know, Philwood. That's where the money really needs to be spent. If we're going to lift the communities of Bristol and we work together to achieve this, we can do it. So it's a depressing story, but we never, ever, ever, ever give up the fight, no matter how low we feel. We carry on. We get strength, not weakness, from it. And we can do this. We can achieve this. We can do it. You know, and it's going to take every single resource that we have to get up there, because this is going to be us against Marvin Rees. I've said this before. I'm convinced it's going to be us against Marvin Rees, us against Labour, because all they want to do is cozy up to the BME community and come out the heroes. You know, we've done this, aren't we great? That's what their campaign is all about. Stuff the rest of the city, as long as they're the heroes of the BME community. But why be heroes of the community, just the BME community, when there's the whole of Bristol? And as I said, people living in deprivation in places like Whitchurch, Philwood, and other places as well. You know, it's all there on the Bristol City Council website. So we need to get on board this together. We need to make this journey together. We need to find the strength in one another to support one another to actually achieve democracy in Bristol. You know, we've only got a few days to do it, but it is achievable if we're all on board. And we want the very, very, very best for the whole of Bristol, everyone. It's tough. It's really tough. It's like pushing water uphill. That's what it's like, because we're not given a look in. Bristol post hustings, 5 candidates. All the major hustings, the top 5 candidates. Independents, we have a voice as well. We have a right to be heard. We have a right to be listened to. As I said before, even if you don't agree with everything, at least take a look, because you are being denied that choice. That is wrong. And if you are being denied that choice before the election, what does it say about after the election? We don't want same old, same old, same old as before. We don't want to have councils all over the country being run by party politics, because that's the game. It's about power and control, and the more authorities the parties can take over, the better it is for them in Parliament. And they can push things through which you would not necessarily agree with. It's all about power and control, nothing else. Here in Bristol, it should be about democracy. And we can change the political system. We can change things from here. We can be a beacon for the rest of the country to show them what we can do. And I know we can do it. I know we can do it. You know, so we've got to pick ourselves up. We've got to dust ourselves off, and we've just got to get on with it. We've only a few days left to achieve it. We can do it. But I need you on my side, working with me together